Alright guys, we are getting started. Move this a little closer so you can hear me. A little bit windy today. We've got just over 30 mile-an-hour wind gusts. It is November 7th, you guys. I've had bucks moving all week. Granted, we had a little bit colder weather this week. Today's Friday. We're going to get in for an evening sit. It's a little bit warmer this evening, unfortunately. It turned to about like 67 for the high today. But there were some bucks moving this morning. And, I mean, we've had like 5 to 6 bucks a day coming through on the farm, so a couple of them shooters. We had a new one come up yesterday that was kind of a neat one, actually. He ended up being a 12 point. He's got split G2s, so that would be a pretty neat one if he walks by. Not a huge rack, but the split G2s makes for some pretty good character. But chose to sit this stand because of the wind. Unfortunately, it's blowing the wrong direction for most of my stands, and this is a spot where bucks come from every direction too, so it doesn't really help too much, but it should help with noise. The hardest part about this stand here is that you don't know these bucks are here unless you hear them until they're right on top of you, and with this wind we're not going to hear them. So the game plan is I'll get up after a while, I'll rattle some, because we should be full on rut right now, you guys. I've seen some bucks following does on cameras while running around with their mouths open, slobbering. So if I go to rattle, I plan on pretty much right afterwards having my bow ready and be on high alert, because something could show up at any moment and I won't know until they're right in front of me. We'll see how this goes. We actually have all weekend to hunt, you guys. I actually have, let's see, I don't have to be back to work till Wednesday night, so pretty good chance of getting a deer this weekend. Like I said, a lot of movement, and I'm feeling pretty optimistic. Sunday night, the weather's going to turn cold. Tomorrow afternoon, we're supposed to get rain, but we're supposed to get down in the low 20s come Sunday and Monday. So if I don't get anything in the next 2 days, I feel like those 2 days will be it. But I'm going to go ahead and get quieted down. We're going to watch for some deer, and probably about an hour before dark we'll start rattling and go from there. Let's get some. Looks like they're gonna come right through here. 39 degrees. We decided we're going to get in the tree stand really early. A lot of the bucks have been coming through super early for me. So like right at 7 o'clock, 6:50. So we were in the tree about 6 o'clock. And let's see what time it is. 6:24. So basically I got settled in. And I could hear movement straight out in front of me. And it's too dark to see, but I watched a buck come about 25 yards. It was definitely a buck, but I couldn't tell which one. How big, how small, nothing. But he stopped at 25 yards, looked my direction, and then either a rabbit or a squirrel moved behind me, off in the distance to the right. And it jumped him up and he went right back to where he came from, so he's still in the area. Maybe he'll want to come this way later. But it was definitely too dark to see. It did look like a decent rack on him, but I could not see it good enough. I just see white. So we're in the stand early. Not a lot of wind today so far. We're supposed to have some rain show up about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I think the deer are going to be moving with this little cold spell because it got pretty warm yesterday. So I'm going to get quieted down, keep listening, and I'm feeling pretty lucky, guys. I think today's going to be the day. Alright, guys. It is about 8:40 in the morning now. About 45 minutes ago, we had some bucks. No idea how big or what they were. But just on this tree line right here is the fence line to the neighbor's property. And there's a big hill going up, and they were fighting on the side of that hill. And it sounded like one came across on our property, but he didn't come this way. You could hear him grunting, you could hear them pushing each other. It was pretty cool. And then that buck this morning, oh my gosh, you guys. So he came out of this patch right here, walked up, and he was right here at 25 yards, standing still. It was so dark I could see his body, and I could tell he had antlers. No idea how big they were. And he ended up going across one of my cameras across the farm a little bit after. So it was one of the older bucks that I had. He just came through super early. Like we were in the stand almost an hour before shooting light. So a lot of the bucks that were moving the last couple days were around 7 o'clock in the morning. And today it looks like they're moving a little slower. We had that warm-up day yesterday, so I figured that maybe they were out feeding and then moving late at night. So we'll see what they do this weekend. I don't know. But Saturday today, and it was supposed to rain come late morning, and guess what? It is now raining. Something pretty cool we invested in this year. Check this out. We've got a tree stand umbrella. They're not very expensive, you guys. 25 to 30 bucks, and a lot of the reviews I've seen said they don't do very good in wind, but one umbrella does. So I don't mind hunting in the rain, but it does kind of suck if you can't get your clothes dried. And the fact that you have camera gear, and a lot of it, like the GoPros are waterproof, the camcorder's not. But this thing's big enough, it's got me completely covered. The only thing that is out in the rain right now is my bow. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna sit out here for a bit, and I didn't think I was gonna be done until about 11 to 12, somewhere around in there. We've had a few deer that come through later on in the afternoon, so in the past couple days. So just in case, we'll be here. Make it a little bit harder to hear them right now, so I'll have to keep an eye out for everything moving. But that also means it's harder for them to hear me. Alright. Something walkthrough. During daylight hours, please. Well, we're back out for our evening sit, you guys, on Saturday. And I was sitting in the stand for 5 minutes and had this little spike buck come through. The spikes are a little bit too big for me to shoot for an antlerless tag though, but we're not doing that just yet. That deer almost did a full circle around me. He was sniffing the ground and was very interested in something in the area. Not scared, but just interested. So he's probably not far, but while we were taking a break getting lunch, we did have some does come through on our other stand that we were sitting in last weekend. And of course, would have been a perfect 20-yard shot for me. But sometimes that's how it works. With the rain, I think it pushed him to move it later. So it's kind of a toss-up whether or not something will really come through today. But I still feel like in the morning might be good, especially with that cold snap coming. Either way, we're still going to sit till evening and get out of here at dark. And I'll be back out in the morning, probably sit in the same stand to be honest, because I've had a lot of the bigger bucks come through on this stand. One thing that I can say though, with that buck walking, I mean, he wasn't 20 yards from me most of that time, and I almost couldn't hear him at all, so definitely gonna have to be on high alert if something comes in later. Because with the rain and the wet leaves and everything, it's probably gonna make it extremely hard to hear it. So, high alert, keep an eye out. Maybe we'll have something come through. Alright guys, it is now Sunday morning. We're back out of the tree. Already seen some bucks moving this morning early. But 11 degrees today is what it feels like. I think the low of 22. Pretty windy, so that wind's definitely taking part in that cold. But this may be what we need, is this cold snap to get them moving for us. All up into this weekend, they were moving every day. I had, like I said, 4 or 5 bucks every day coming through. So I feel like I hear something though, but I'm gonna get ready, see if something's coming in. I think we're getting up to about 6:45. Somewhere around 7:30, I'll probably rattle and see if anything might come in. Wow, we just seen our first deer in the morning. Unfortunately, it happened so quick I couldn't get the camera on him. But he was out about 80 yards. Wasn't a great look at him, but I don't think he was one of the big ones. So, yeah, that's a good sign. I think it's about 7:45 right now. Kind of been light snow. But maybe they'll get up and move now, so we'll see. Definitely nice and chilly today. Alright, Sunday evening update, you guys. We had a smaller buck come through about 80 to 100 yards this morning. It's about 7 degrees real feel, and we had 30 to 40 mile-an-hour wind gusts almost all day, you guys. It didn't really warm up that much. I think it only got up to like 34 maybe. But it just didn't seem like the deer were really moving today very much. I got back in the stand about 2:30 in the evening, and within an hour I had a doe run by at like 40 yards. Not real fast, but too fast for me to get the camera on her. And she wasn't interested in sticking around. But I'm really hoping I didn't miss rut. So we had a lot of buck action the whole week up to this weekend. I mean, like 4 to 5 bucks a day for like 4 days straight. But I've tried rattling, I've tried grunting, calling, everything. And even at the one buck that I seen this morning, it didn't faze him whatsoever. So, not a real good sign. But I wouldn't be surprised if I see some bucks moving tonight on camera. Did see 2 last night, middle of the night, really late, coming onto the farm. And I think one of them was that early buck that I seen that came in and bedded down on the farm. But we'll be back out in the stand tomorrow morning. This stand is the one that I've had the most buck action in for the mature bucks. So I'm hoping at some point the switch just gets turned on and they come through for me. I've got 2 more days off to try, and if I can't get a buck, I might be able to get out again in 2 weeks. But it's gonna be real iffy right before Thanksgiving too. So hopefully we can tag something out this weekend. I also have some does moving through in the afternoon in one of my other stands. So they've done it 3 days in a row now, I think. So I'm thinking about doing an early morning sit in the stand, moving over to the other stand, do an afternoon sit, and then we'll go from there and figure out where we want to sit for the evening. But I do have a doe tag and a buck tag, so it'd be nice to fill at least one of them. Anyways, it's getting dark. I'm gonna sit out the rest of this evening, and we'll be back out first thing in the morning, bright and early. Hopefully go warm up. It's been really cold today. My body's fine, but my feet and my hands are been so cold. Alright guys, a little update. It is Monday morning. 22 degrees with a real feel of like 9 degrees. So still a little chilly. Wind's picking up a little bit now, but not as much as yesterday. Already seen more deer movement. I am under the impression that, sorry, I'm gonna try to keep you guys out of the sun. I am under the impression that we may have missed the peak of rut. All up until Friday, I had multiple bucks every day coming through. And you could tell they were chasing does on the camera. And I haven't seen any rut action this weekend whatsoever. But today we already seen 3 deer. We had a really small 8-point come in to about 50 yards. Then we had 2 big does at about 100 yards away. So nothing coming through yet. I still have the rest of today and hopefully tomorrow to hunt as well. Right now I just feel like it's a waiting game. This is going to be a pretty slow, uneventful video at this point. But sometimes this happens, more often than not. I don't get a deer every year, that's for sure. But I sure do try when I can. This is probably my longest weekend I've got to hunt in a while now for bow season. And I have a chance of maybe hunting one more weekend before shotgun season, we'll see. I don't know if I'll get that one or not. But we'll keep at it today and see if we can get anything come through. Probably going to take a short break this afternoon, not very long. I feel like the deer should be moving today, but I've said that every day. It just hasn't happened. Although, 3 deer in one day, and the rest of the weekend I only seen 4 deer to the total for the whole weekend, so looking better today. Well, that was a decent buck, you guys. There really isn't a lot of wind right now, so only other thing I can think of is he starts snort wheezing because that deer behind me. Alright, I'm going to have to pay attention a little bit because I just got done doing some rattling. We finally had an encounter. And I don't know, guys, the wind was coming from his direction. So unless it did a big swirl, which I didn't notice, I don't think he winded me, but if you guys heard me when I said it, when he started doing the snort wheezing, I heard something literally directly behind me take off, so I'll show you what I was talking about. So just over in here, completely open, I had my back to it, and I know I heard a deer take off from behind me. And after I'm thinking about it, so I had that buck just over this ridge right here, and his head was behind the trees, looking through in this direction, so I almost wonder if he spotted the other deer, and that's why he started snort wheezing. I almost wish I had a snort wheeze call with me, which I had at home. It's just huge. I don't like it, how big it is. But I almost wonder if I could snort wheeze back at him if he would just thought I was a deer. I don't know. I didn't get a great look at his rack to tell which buck he is from my pictures. But he was definitely something I would have shot. So, who knows, maybe he'll stay in the area. He came into me rattling. And it kind of gives me an idea, but it is so hard to walk back into this part of the property without jumping deer. But I can't tell you how many times that bucks, they like this ravine that I'm sitting in front of. And they'll come down both sides of it, but I honestly think that they come down more off the other side. And every time we have a buck coming in, there's an open grass field over there. And I usually catch them coming across that, and they'll come down this hill into this ravine right here. And I mean, it's almost every time, you guys. It's too late in the year to move stand, but I did bring my mobile stand with me, so it might be worth it. But then again, the wind. Tomorrow the wind's gonna be blowing right to that direction, so I don't think this stand's gonna be a good sit either. To be honest, I think it's just a matter of the bucks aren't in the area right now. But maybe that was changing tonight. I even seen one off the road on my way down here for this evening hunt. And then a little bit ago, I look over and there's 2 does sitting over here in this clearing, but they took off in the other direction. They didn't come this way at all. A lot more deer today than there has been all weekend, you guys. Alright, got about 45 minutes left, I think. I'm kind of really disappointed in myself, unfortunately. After that whole encounter with that buck just a little bit ago, I never pressed record on the big camera, so I gotta show nothing. This is not my weekend, you guys. But we'll see if we can turn around. Still a little bit of light left tonight. And we still have all of tomorrow to hunt. Just had this little 4 or 6 pointer come through. He was pretty small. Couldn't tell if he had brow tines or not. We're nearing the end of our hunting day. Alright guys, if you stuck around this long, I sure do appreciate it. It is now Tuesday afternoon. This morning was pretty uneventful, unfortunately. Nothing moving. We had almost 20 mile an hour sustained winds and 40 mile an hour gusts out of the south. But it warmed up this afternoon and I got out a little early this morning. The only movement we had was on the other side of the farm. I did have a smaller buck come through on camera. So probably not a lot of movement today. With this warm up, I don't know what to expect, to be honest. The wind is not really working for me. I've got the two stands in this area. Both of them, the wind just doesn't quite work. We'll see. I have a crosswind going straight across me. So this time, because we had four does that came right up here beside me, and with the wind swirling around so much yesterday, it caught wind of me, I think, and took out the other way. But I feel like maybe that they'll be moving in the evening again. If we have a doe come through, we'll go ahead and fill our doe tag if we get a chance. And we're gonna watch for some bucks. But hopefully they're in the area now. This is that bigger buck that I called in yesterday. I'll tell you what, it was the first deer I've rattled in this whole trip. So I'm thinking, because we should be, I mean, you guys, this is 5 days straight of hunting in what should be peak rut. And to not be able to call a buck in at all, even small ones, that's pretty bad. That's rough. They didn't really respond to the grunt call very well yesterday, but every buck can be different on that. And we'll see. I'm still kicking myself in the butt. I had no idea that deer was behind me yesterday while that buck was in front of me. But I really would like to think that he didn't wind me, because the wind was never going that direction. I honestly feel like he could just see, his head was where he could see through the brush there. And I wonder if he just seen the other deer, and who knows what it was. But still kicking myself in the butt. I did not have the camcorder on record, so you guys didn't get to see any of that. I don't know if the GoPro footage will make the video or not. We'll see. You should hear him. He snorted pretty loud. But this is our last sit of this trip, unfortunately. And if I get a chance, I can come back down maybe in 2 more weeks for a weekend hunt. Get a Friday evening, Saturday day, and most of Sunday hunting in, hopefully. If I don't tag out today. But we're trying. It's gonna be a long video. Hopefully there's a little bit there. And like I said, I sure do appreciate you guys watching and keep it along even when it's slow. That 4-pointer yesterday, I'll tell you what, I had him at 15 yards, and I can't tell you how hard it was to not just shoot him and be done and have some meat in the freezer. Get on to some urban bow hunting. Originally I thought I'd be able to do more urban bow hunts this year, and circumstances have changed at home, so we're gonna try to get out when we can. We do have some breaks coming up from work, and if I am kid free, I will be out hunting. You can bet on it. But at the moment, definitely not getting out near as much as I thought I'd be able to, just because of circumstances at home, unfortunately. But we're gonna try. So I'm gonna get quieted down. We're gonna keep an eye out. I did extra scent cover today just in case. Like I said, the wind's not exactly in my favor, but it could work. If anything comes from in front of me, as long as it doesn't go to my right, it shouldn't wind me. And I kind of have a theory right now, because I've seen so many bucks come from this area over here on the fence line. And almost all of them keep coming through in just one exact area to get down into this ravine in front of me. And if I can confirm that today, which, I mean, I've seen it year after year now. Usually, I mean, I can pinpoint about 100 yards where they come into it. It's just hard to walk all the way that far in, because you usually scare up deer getting that far in. And there's no cover over there. Basically an open field that they come through to get to you, so I'd have to be real still, be ready. And maybe have a shot. But maybe the next weekend, if we come out, we might set up our mobile stand over there for a couple hunts and see if we can get closer to having something come in. But let's get to it. He definitely smelled me. Took him a while though. And that's literally right where all my wind is taking me. So that did pretty good for scent control. It's kind of a smaller buck, to be honest. I think I know which one it is. It's pretty sure. It's this one I seen this morning on camera on the other side of the farm. He probably bedded down midday and stayed there. But he's heading on out. I don't know if the camcorder would have caught him very well on camera, because it's looking right into the sun, but we're going to go ahead and hold on to the bow for a little bit and see if he circles back around. Definitely not the biggest buck we have, but very tempting. It was about the same size as the one I got last year. It's about, let's see, 130, I think. Nope, 2 o'clock. So maybe that's a good sign. Maybe deer are going to be up and moving this evening. We can only hope. Maybe we'll have a big one come through. Oh, that was so hard. That'd be a hard one to pass up given chances I have this season. Alright guys, well, this week did not go the way I had hoped it would. In case this is the end, we're gonna shut the video down here. But I had those 2 bucks come through, one at 2 o'clock and one at 3 o'clock, and then Dad unfortunately came out and started cutting firewood out here, not far from where I'm hunting. I don't think it scared anything away that was near me, but I did see a couple deer running away, so. Not very high expectations for the rest of the evening. This is the hard part, but we still have hopefully one more weekend we might be able to make it back out, but who knows. Hard to say. But if you guys stuck around this long, hopefully some of that footage came out. It was really hard. It's really hard to film those deer on that camcorder through the timber and stuff at distance. I'm trying though. Trying to get some good video for you guys. If I look defeated, it's because I feel defeated. Quite the weather this weekend, you guys. But anyways, if this is the end of the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to get out of here right at dark.